Good morning. Um, I think somebody might be there. I'm not sure. So, uh, Thursday, here we are, getting close to the end of the week. Um, End of the month, moving right along, right? Um, it was really nice yesterday. I don't know if it's supposed to be as nice today. We'll see. It's certainly sunny, which is a good start, but um, I don't know if it's going to stay warm. Probably not. Although we're definitely um, getting warmer, so that's a good thing. So today, let's talk about this idea of light and dark. Um, so I think sometimes we want to call things good and bad, right? Um, Good and bad emotions or good and bad actions. Um, and I don't know that it's that helpful to put those kind of labels on our behaviors and the things that happen in our life, right? We've already decided then. We've already decided what these things are and what the outcome is going to be, which isn't that helpful, right? I think too, we have these connotations of, bad and good, right? Bad things should be avoided, good things should be sought. Um, but it's, I think, more helpful to think of them in terms of light and dark, right? Um, just like our planet, right? We have light and dark. Our days are light and dark. That is not to say there is something wrong with the dark, right? It is essential. It's part of the cycle of um, the turning of the planet, the cycle of the day. Um, Light and dark in our behaviors, in um, our experiences is really much the same, right? Um, I shouldn't say our behaviors, right? That's sort of a choice, but our feelings, let's say, um, and our experiences. So we're going to have good and we're going to have rough days. We're going to have days that we feel very much on top of uh, how things are going. And then days where we feel like everything is on top of us and we are just sort of scrambling to get to just survive, right? To get through. Um, we have this capacity for extreme, um, kind, altruistic behavior, and then also very selfish and very cruel behavior. Um, it's a choice that we make which one we are going to follow. But those impulses will be with us forever, right? They are part of who we are and what we are in this place. Um, to deny them is to not see reality, right? And we know this with yoga. We are always trying to see what's real, um, accept what's real. So clearly, to pretend that you don't get angry, to think that somehow following a yogic path is going to make you clean and pure so that there will be no anger and there will be no frustration, no feelings of selfishness or impulses that might be cruel or unkind. You will have all of these things. You will always have all of those things. You will. Um, but are you going to act on them? Are you going to make them who you are? Or are you going to notice them, acknowledge them, and let them go. That is really the key. What what behavior are you going to cultivate in your life? We can't do anything about um, the state of being, right? We can't change the nature um, of our experience here on earth, right? It would be nice if only good things could happen, but that's not that's not realistic, and it's not how things are working, right? We've talked about this before, this idea of the world as a big wheel, and it turns, and there are at any given time some people are on the up, some people are on the down. Um, it's our turn sometimes to have difficult experiences thrown at us, to have struggles, to have terrible things happen sometimes. Um, there aren't always good explanations for any of these things. Maybe the best explanation is it's not always about you. You sometimes are just part of a much bigger picture. Um, a lot of people call it, God's plan, or you know, and I guess it meant to be comforting that you're part of a plan, and it may or may not give you comfort to know that. For me, I feel good knowing that it isn't always your responsibility or your fault, right? You can do everything right in your life and still experience great hardship and great difficulty. Um, it's not personal. It's just the nature of life. So we work with it, and we learn from it, and we grow, and we hopefully can help other people with it, right? That's, I think, a key part of our experience is making us kinder, making us more compassionate, making us understand how hard it is to go through these things. That is the light, right? That's the light that we churn out of the darkness. Um, so even in a dark place, we can move to the light. The light is when we're cultivating those good aspects. Um, see, I'm slipping into this good and bad thing again. It's when we're cultivating the more positive, right, aspects. Um, when we are focusing on the kindness, um, the non-harming type of behavior. Um, it is entirely our decision how we behave. A lot of people would like to think that it's really how other people, uh, you made me mad. You, if you just stop doing this, then I wouldn't get so angry at you. Um, my behavior is a result of your actions. Well, I mean, it's completely not true. You are the one who chooses to act on that. Perhaps someone's actions did make you angry. That's a fair that's a fair thing. But what do you do with that anger? Are you going to act on it? Are you going to throw things, yell, scream, um, say cruel, cruel things to someone in you know, some sort of idea that somehow this is going to make you feel better? Um, it won't. It will make you feel terrible. It will destroy your relationships. It will um, set habits in you that you don't want. You will become the angry person. You will be the person with the temper, right? The person people tiptoe around. People are afraid to be near you. This is a terrible way to live your life. Um, but we do get angry, right? So what do we do? Um, we figure out ways to let that go. We certainly don't turn that on other people. We don't turn it on ourselves. We don't pretend we're not angry and just put a big smile on our face, right? But we find productive ways to let that go. We acknowledge it. We notice that, right, when we're angry, it's a terrible time to do anything. Don't make decisions when you're angry. Don't impulsively do things when you're angry. Um, I can guarantee you, you're going to think better of those things later. You're going to wish you hadn't. So be aware, right? Always be aware of how you're feeling, um, but be willing to let that go. Don't hold on to it. We're having emotions all the time. Um, you could have something happen to you that made you angry, and instead of letting it go and moving on from there, you can hold on to that. You could 3 days from now, you could still be simmering, um, and holding on to this shred of anger. Or you could have acknowledged it, said, yeah, that was really aggravating, but let's move on. What's next? Um, a lot of times we don't move on from things like anger or big emotions like that because we don't feel like they're resolved. And that's important, right? If someone makes you angry, uh, there's nothing wrong with letting them know that. You don't have to blow up at them or throw something at their head, but you can say, hey, this behavior is not okay. Um, I don't like this, and I am not going to tolerate this. You know, you could leave, you could walk away. Um, Lots of things that you can do. Um, but again, if you feel like you're having trouble letting go of some emotions, look to see, what are you doing? Are you pretending it's not there? Are you just shrugging off, letting other people do things to you, say things to you, behave to you in ways that are unkind? Um, that's no way to make yourself feel good. Um, you will, again, it will be a constant source of aggravation for you until you address it. So if you find these emotions coming up again and again, negative emotions, difficult feelings, it may be that are not, you're not, you're focusing on the symptoms instead of the problem, right? The problem may be um, something that needs to be addressed. But again, in a calm and in a sensible time. So I can't tell you how many times with my kids I have had situations where we both walk away and we come back later and talk about it because with the people that you love and care about, it's very easy to get drawn into hot emotions and both people get mad and things escalate. Better to walk away, let it go, and come to things from a sense of stability instead of just the first thing in your head that pops out. Never a good choice. So learning how to manage these things, um, dealing with this light and dark within us is really important. There's lots of different techniques, lots of different ways to do it, but the big thing is to acknowledge that it's there. It's going to be there. You're never going to get rid of it. Um, that's okay, right? This is part of the practice. Um, as we progress and we really internalize a lot of these truths, a lot of the yamas and niyamas, it gets easier, right? The less attached we are to the different things like our ego and our pride and our sense of whatever it is about ourselves that we're holding on to, we can be easier with these things. It's less urgent. It feels less heated. Um, But it takes time, and things never really, we don't, we're here. We're not part of the one, even as much as we are aware of the one. And we know that we are all one, we're still ourselves here, right? We're still holding on to this little piece of real estate. and and it's ours to protect and to care for. So um, we're going to have some of these difficult times, um, figuring out how to manage them, how to get through that is a goal, and we're working towards it all the time. But just like everything in yoga, it is designed to help you, to make you feel better, to make your relationships easier, your interactions with others better, um, and that's what we're going for. So some days are harder than others, right? Some days it's hard to believe that we can get through uh, the whole thing, but um, we can, and we do every day. All right, so let's do some asana. Breathe, relax. Head hangs down, moving around, big circle. One direction and then the other. Back to center. Lean forward a little and move around. One way and the other. Back up. Arms wide, take a deep breath, and then exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale. Exhale. Lift and lower. Once more. Lifting up and lower. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on left knee, left arm behind you. Sitting up tall and then a twist. Move back to center and twist. Back to center, walk the hands out in front. And then hands behind you, squeeze the shoulders together, gaze up. Back to your seat. Tabletop. Sit back on the heels. Moving back up. Tabletop. A few sets of cat-cow. Loosening up. Inhales and exhales through the spine. And then flip the toes, coming up to downward dog. And step the feet up. Here in a fold. Breathe. And rising up. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we're going to step back with the left. Drop your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to center. Take a breath, and then twisting to the right. You can hug the elbow here or just stay upright. Back to center. Right hand down by the foot. And we're going to lift that left arm. Both hands down to the mat. We can walk the hands out a little. Coming into a small lizard. Let's walk the hands back. So we're straightening out the right leg to some extent. You might still have a bend in the knee. Folding over. Set the foot down and we'll swing it around. Coming back into child's pose. Maybe bring the knees a little wider. For this one, you could stack the fists and rest the forehead or bring the forehead down toward the mat. And moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Walk the feet up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. And back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, you're going to step back with the right. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands to center. Take a deep breath. Twisting to the right. Back to center. Left hand down by the foot and right arm lifts. Both hands down, moving into kind of a lizard here. Breathe. walk the hands back, straightening out the left leg, folding over. Set the foot down, swing the leg around, and we are back into child's pose. So we're holding some of these poses a little longer. And what's interesting is how the pose changes when you do hold. You may start out feeling one way and end up feeling a different way. One nice thing about holding poses is it really forces us to make sure that we are in a sustainable place. We're not just quick jumping into that pose and really pushing hard and then knowing that we're going to be out of it in a second or two. When we hold it for quite a few breaths, we have to find that place where we can stay. And even a fairly easy or resting pose can be challenging when you're holding it for more than just a couple of breaths, right? Even like child's pose, right? It can start to feel kind of weird or long. But again, we're trying to find a place where we are at ease, at least more or less at ease, right? And we are working on that discipline, staying in a pose even when we want to get out, right? We want to. We're like, oh, I've been in this pose for a long time. I really want to get out. Well, do you? I mean, are you in pain? Are your muscles hurting? Or are you just mentally, you're over it? You're ready to move on to the next thing. Most of the time, it's our mind, right, that's doing that. So let's not let that have power. Let's just sit with it. And then moving back up. Tabletop downward dog. Step the feet up a little and we're down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together, sit up tall, lean forward. Moving back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath, fold forward. back up, let's point and flex the feet. And making some spirals. One way and then the other. And then bend the knees. We're going to lower down or rock back. So you're resting on your back on the mat. Let's hug the right knee in. Left leg long. And then we're going to lower that right knee out to the side. Just going as far as you can while keeping the rest of the body flat on the mat. And then bring the knee to center and across the body, rolling up on that left hip. Maybe setting the gaze to the right. And then we're back to center. Switch legs around. Left leg in towards the chest. Lowering out to the side. And then bringing that knee across the body, then rolling up on the right hip. Back to center. Extend both legs. And relax. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Again, we're setting up for bridge. Heels back close to the body. I'm going to do supported bridge. You can do regular bridge also. Lifting up. Find a place for the block. And breathe. And lifting back up. Let's set the block to the side. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Relax and breathe. Maybe bring the hands onto the belly. Feel how it rises and falls with the breath. And then moving into Shavasana. You can stay here and just extend the arms, or stay however you want to be, or you could extend the legs here and just relax. Find what is comfortable, what is peaceful for you, where you feel supported. And then let that breath be your focus. The breath is the beginning and the end of our existence. It's a requirement for our survival. It's also a really powerful tool to change how we're feeling, to change our physical sensations and emotional feelings as well. So, if you are struggling with negative emotions and letting go of them, use the breath. The breath. Let that breath bring in peace and calm and wash out any anger, worry. um, all of the feelings that are not helping us, the emotions that are stirred up in the course of a day or a week, or even, just a short interaction, taking time to breathe and to push all of those things through, um, so that they aren't lingering, they aren't stuck in places in the body, is very helpful. The breath is maybe our most powerful ally in this sort of battle that we have going on between um, what we know to be true and what our feelings might be telling us at any given time. Moving then a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet, maybe stretching if you feel like it. And then making your way up to a seat. We can bring hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today to come to the mat and practice and to share it with me. I hope that you have a very good Thursday. Namaste. Okay, hooray. Um, Meditation. Also, I just realized that you guys, I don't know if I've showed you before, but maybe you've never seen the bells that I use for ending class, um, because you're always in Shavasana. And when I ring them, even if you're awake then, they're below. I usually have them below the camera. So this is what they look like. And this is what they sound like. Sometimes I mess up, right? They're a little tricky. So sometimes I'll just sort of hit them and it'll make sort of a miss sound. So sometimes you thought you heard one and you may have slightly, sometimes it's not quite a full ring. So I'll do another one. So you never know what might happen with those. Sitting up tall, take your breath in and your breath out. If you have any question about those bells, sometimes people ask me, why 3? Why are you doing 3 bells at the end of class? Sometimes 3 bells at the beginning. So what I've heard, I've never heard any real definitive word on that, but I've heard it's to bring back mind, body, spirit. We're trying to get everything back together. I think it's because you probably don't hear the first one. You might hear the second one, and you definitely will hear the third one, depending on how far out you are in your Shavasana. All right, so sitting up for 5 minutes of meditation. Peaceful breath, calm focus through the mind. And we're back. Hopefully that was a good 5 minutes for you. I am going to be back tomorrow. And I hope you have a good day. See if you can get outside for a little bit. And I'll see you again.